Hello, hello. How's it all going? Alright, so today I just wanted to work on a script and I wanted to focus, so I thought I'd live stream it. Uh, so this is a script I wrote in November, and I wrote it out of order, and so I have been trying to get it in order and make it sound a little bit better. If people join, I'll explain it. If not, I will just start editing as I go. Sweet. Alright. So, I know no one's not watching at the moment, but for anybody who wants to watch it, once it's recorded. Um, so, what I'm doing, this first half right here, this is the actual scene view, and this is the actual script view, right? When I wrote this, I wasn't necessarily worried about structure, but there's this great book on screenwriting um, that helps structure a screenplay to be more in line with the standard conventions of an actual movie script, um, to help keep your movie concise while also staying on target. And in the book, there's the beat sheet, which kind of lays out when things are supposed to happen. Not necessarily like a very specific thing, but it gives you like, all right, this is when the inciting incident happens. This is when the end of Act 1 usually happens. This is where the theme is stated, all that type of stuff. It works on the beat sheet in the book is for a 110-page script. And since mine is 90 pages, or roughly 90 pages, I had to do some math to calculate what pages some of these things would land on. But it looks like my first act is a little bit too long. Right now it's supposed to end around 21 pages. And currently we are going into page 20, let's see, 25. Now there is some stuff I can cut down. Now I don't think this is necessarily a hard, fast rule. Yesterday I was working on the script and I'd moved some stuff around, but when I did that, like, the timeline didn't necessarily work out correctly. But to get the inciting incident, like that true inciting incident where my character realizes he has to break up with his significant other. To get that in the right spot, I've had to go back and rewrite some scenes to make it clear that the timeline is changed from how it was originally written, which kind of sucks. But right now, I am trying to figure out when he's talking to his friend, what needs to be there and what we can cut, to try to make this a little bit more concise. So, like Chris and his friend Sarah walked to the water's edge, talking about the end of the college year. The quarter has been real rough. This I just edited. I said, after this, how's Ming, da-da-da, we broke up, da-da-da, that type of stuff. This, I have to cut because literally in one scene before, or two scenes before, they were just hanging out with Ming, and it's literally over the span of 2 days, and so this doesn't actually make sense anymore. So let me take that out. I do like this, and maybe we can incorporate it somewhere else in the story, but as it stands right now, it doesn't work. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to go to notes, or notepad. I'm going to throw a lot of this in there. Let's go. Let's just cut this part. Oh, come on. All right, let's start from the top. How about that? Let's go down here. Like that. All right. We'll cut it out. We'll stick it over here. We'll save it for later in the notepad. If we decide we want some of the writing we worked on, we can always come back and copy it over. But as it stands right now, it doesn't make sense here. So, all right, here we go. Basically, this scene that I'm trying to edit right now is two friends talking. One is just talking about the end of a school year. The other is also talking about the end of the school year, but at the same time trying to get advice on his relationship. Yeah. And basically how it was written initially was Sarah, the character, she was talking about her relationship with her boyfriend and when they broke up and the hardships that she had. And then she was going to ask about Chris and his girlfriend, and he was going to kind of give like a fake answer, be like, oh yeah, we're good. And then he can't really bring himself to lie. So then he tells her honestly how he's not feeling the happiest. He feels stuck and all that stuff. And basically she says, well, if you think she can change, maybe have a hard conversation with her and end the situation, or break up with her and get out while you can. And so that's what we're trying to change right now. We're just, again, it's not going to be perfect right now. We're just trying to make sure it makes all sense from previous edits. So let's go down here. Chris and his friend Sarah walked to the water's edge, talking about the end of the college year. This quarter has been real tough. It has, let's say, Chris isn't talking about school. don't know why I'm typing so shittily right now. Let's go. Shit. The bad thing about being a writer and not reading / having a strong vocabulary, sometimes I'm thinking of a word and I can't think of what the word is. Sometimes when I'm writing a script, I literally put the dumbest stuff in there and I come back to it later. Like, it could sound actually just atrocious, and it might not even be the right word. Like right here, Sarah looks over at Chris, hearing the sadness. I mean, it's sadness. It's not the one I was hoping for, but sadness in his voice. But I'm not trying to get hung up on that right now. I'm just trying to get out generally the idea. It's not sadness what we're going for. It's going the... damn. I can't even think right now. Also, just the pressure being recorded and doing it. So let's go. Let's just move on. Okay, so I think we can transition here. Things are good. Okay, so this line doesn't make sense anymore, based on how it's being written right now. So I gotta get that changed to kind of fit the situation. So things are good. Usually I go to visit her on the weekends, but 3 hours away sometimes sucks. I wish I could see her more often, you know? Not always over the phone, at least. And while I see her a couple weeks, once I go to my parents, back to radio chat. I can imagine, but you guys make the most out of the weekend, I'm sure, especially since she has her own place. She bumps Chris with an elbow and Chris awkwardly laughs. I mean, I guess. Chris pauses. Thinks hard for a minute. Can I be completely honest? Sarah looks concerned. Fully. Of course, you can tell me anything. Okay. Nice. Okay, I just want to make sure we are live. I mean, I know we are, but I just want to check. Let's go. Un momento. All right, boys, we are live, and the audio actually sounds good. So, look at that. So, oh. All right, boys, let's get going. So, here we go. Of course, anything you can tell me. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is all good. I mean, it's probably not the best worded, but it all makes sense. I think. Okay, maybe we gotta run through this. Let's check. Okay, that all makes sense. That all makes sense. Okay, this part we might have to edit. Let's see. Okay, so I think this is basically the end of Act 1 right here. We could even new structure point right there. It's not necessarily on the dot, but we will make it work. Am I forget how that structure point works. Okay, well, we'll just keep it there for now. We'll edit that later. All right, let's continue on. So this part, we've entered Act 2. From here, we want to begin our journey of self-discovery. So before he can get on self-discovery mode, he has to grow. He has to he has to understand that he needs the self-discovery. He has taken the step, and he's in uncertain waters. And right now, this is the aftermath of his decision. So, in this situation, we do have it kind of do like a little montage. Like, it's very stylized montage right here. I think for story's sake and for things that pay off later, we actually have to expand on some of this stuff. So, in the previous scene, we did say he finished his finals, so that's good. So, hands bow his head. Okay. Okay. So, what I'm gonna do? Oh, look at that. I forgot. We got okay. So we have this scene. This one's already been written. Okay. See, now where does this fit in? This is a necessary scene, but it needs to be. It needs to be somewhere up. Let's go. Chris is studying. It's from MJ. Okay. So it has to be somewhere in here. Let's stick it here for now. We'll scroll back up here. I guess we could just change this. So it's morning. Chris is at his desk studying for a test when his phone dings. Okay, that kind of lines up. So basically this scene, for those who might be curious, so Chris is upset with his girlfriend. He doesn't want to respond to her text. And then we're gonna introduce the character MJ, who will eventually be Chris's roommate. And we wanted to put the idea that they're gonna be roommates here. Nothing too crazy, but so then once we have that there, that makes more sense. And then I'll scroll down again. Let's scroll down here. Okay. So now this kind of makes logical sense. We've set it up that they're going to be roommates up here. And then so when we go to edit this part, when we show that they are moving in together, it all makes sense. So I think what we'll do, we currently have it's going to be kind of annoying to explain all this, but I'll explain it anyways. How it's written right here is there's a time lapse of a year. The whole point being quarter life crisis, he's 25. But I don't think if we skip a whole year, we don't necessarily get the journey part. Like he's starting his journey a whole year after the breakup, which probably is a late start. So what we'll do is we'll kind of edit this down. Let's just cut this out. Honestly, we have a backup of this file, so if we need it, we can come back to it. Yeah, see, it's saying it's like his birthday again. Let's cut this out. He's a sad boy. He's a sad boy, and it's graduation. Nice. Chris sits in a crowd of people, all anxious about being done with school. The headmaster ends his final remarks. The whole crowd throws. Chris looks depressed. We're trying to show the passage of time here, so let's go interior. Let's say conference room. Afternoon also. Chris is looking sharp, sad, but hireable. Hireable. Is that a word? Hireable. See, going back to not having the best vocabulary, but also trying to be a writer. You know, you don't know how to spell either. Sad but hireable. Let's say boss. All right. You brother. Okay. Honestly, I didn't know how to spell that. I just new keyboard. All right, that's the reason. All right, you're hired. The boss and Chris shake hands. Chris smiles slightly. Eyes are still sad. All right, then. So we have graduation. We have him getting a job. So it all makes sense, kind of. Not that necessarily we talk about him having a job later, but it's like he's gonna have an apartment, so he has to pay for it somehow. And this is just a quick 2-second thing that we can add in there to make it slightly more real. Okay, and this is where I have to pull up the other file because we finally got to this point. So let me go file, save, open. Let's go here to Quarter Life Crisis. Open. Okay. Then let's scroll down here. Okay, so all right, so let's go to, let's copy. Oh crap. Okay, so it's 25 to 28. 25 to 28. Let's scroll up here real quick. Where's 25? 17. Okay. Copy. Close. Okay. So I'll paste that in there. For the most part, this makes sense. We will kind of have to change this campsite thing just a little bit to kind of mesh better with the beginning. In the beginning we set up that he was looking at a hiking book. Here he's just at a camp property that his parents have. I think it would be better if he just went on a hike. So then it'd be like, he was looking at that book. Now he's on a hike. He's starting his journey. So we'll change that a little bit. And yeah, we'll get it going. Okay. Also, I wrote old apartment because there's a new apartment. I think what I should probably change it to is, let's say Chris and MJ's apartment. Living room. So then when Chris goes solo, it can just be Chris's apartment. So we'll change that real quick. Chris's. Yeah, see, now the naming convention is just Chris and MJ's apartment. Living room. It does seem like a lot of words. MJ's apartment. Apartment. Bedroom. Okay. MJ's apartment. I'm surprised it's not auto-filling for me right there. Why? I swear. Oh, look at you. Always good to tune in. Hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. This is just my way of being productive right now. Being forced to record, because then I have to work and not scroll my phone. I wonder if I could move the chat to over here or something. I don't know. Okay. I'm not getting distracted yet. Okay. So, let's see. We got that changed. Let's see. Camp, late afternoon, camp hut, river edge. Okay, so, here we go. Chris, MJ, apartment, living room. 100%, bro. 100%. Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess you go back and listen to the first 30 minutes of this, but I'll explain it. Um, the script is basically about me. Or I guess I told you in the last stream, but yeah, we're trying to keep it accurate, but also um, consistent. In the first 30 minutes, I was explaining that some of the timeline of things didn't necessarily really match up. Or, sorry, they did match up, but they didn't lend themselves to being dramatic and concise to how a script is supposed to be. For instance, the Act 1 for a 90-page script should be roughly around 21 pages. Currently, Act 1 is ending at 25 pages. It's all very necessary information to get us to the end of Act 1. So it's not necessarily a hard, fast rule, but to get to the inciting incident, which is at around page 9 and 10, I had to switch the whole beginning to move over here, and then switch what was here to the beginning. However, when writing that, things said here were supposed to be meant for things here, or things said here were supposed to be meant for here. But since they were changed in time, it wouldn't make sense. So that's what I've been doing so far. And now we're on to Act 2. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. You're hired. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm trying to make it a little bit more followable. So the whole reason I'm doing this, honestly, I would have wrote it and then just kind of left it at that. For me, once I write something, I'm just kind of done with it. But my girlfriend wanted to read it, and I realized the first half was good, but the second half was completely out of order, and it didn't make sense. So I had to reorder it, and then once I did that, there was a lot of gaps that needed to be ironed out. So I was like, all right, let's just kind of start from the top and see what happens. But yeah, so let's get right into it. Okay, so they moved in. They are in an unfurnished apartment. They're enjoying get furniture. Okay, so now it's cut to he is swiping on girls because of course he's sad, and that's what you do. I mean, I'll let you read it. Then you'll know too much about my life because this is way too accurate. But if you want to read it, the only clause is you actually have to read it. You can't get halfway through it and stop. You have to finish this, because last time that I wrote a script, so many people want to read it, and then they didn't ever get back to me, and then I put them on blast on YouTube, and then they find it, and then they're like, "Oh crap, I should read that," and then they do read it. But Yeah. Yep, this is definitely based on me. What are you talking about? All right. So the only thing that doesn't make sense right now, at least to me, is it's not furnished apartment here, but then it is a furnished apartment here. The only thing I can think of without having a scene that shows that they furnished the apartment, because it's unnecessary. We just want to show a passage of time, and the best way to do that is just to have a different scene, a different location between these two scenes, right? So, is there something that I've written in here? Oh, I guess not in here because I've only copied so much of it back into the story. It's only 90 pages, and the pages look like this, so I mean it should be easy, right? It's not too challenging, unless you can't read good. I'm just kidding. Just messing with you. Just yanking your chain. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna reply with text real quick. Uh, 1 second. All right, I'm done. All right, let's see. I'm looking at the chat. Sorry, I'm slow. I was slow at texting. I love popcorn reading, bro. It's great. When you get to say the bad words, you're like, oh, shit. You know? Those were the days. All right, I'm getting distracted again, bro. Sorry. Okay. All right. So let's just think of a scene. Give me a scene. I'll stick it in here. Okay. But we got to remember, we're depressed. We're depressed here and here. So we can't be happy in the scenes between. So I'm going to say morning. Chris is laying in bed on his phone, swiping endlessly through many girls. He sees a wholesome girl, clicks on her bar, reads and swipes right, no match. He swipes again, finds a wholesome looking girl, swipes right, no match. Damn. WD. I mean, he could do that. It might not fit tonally with the story. Continue to swipe. 0 matches. Eyes are glazed over. Deletes profile. Closes the phone and goes to bed. Alright. Let's think. What does a depressed person do? Well, he probably goes outside, right? Exterior. Trust me, it only gets better from here, man. It's not as sad from here on out. It's all looking good. Alright. This man, he has been doing a lot of walks. Trying to think. Up here, it was summer, so maybe down here it's like winter. No, it can't be winter because the next scene he's going on a hike. Shit. See, this is why it takes so long to write a script. Or edit it, at least. Because you're like, damn, the timeline's not making sense. Alright. Let's say... Alright, he's at his parents' house now. I forget what the scene was called when he's at his parents'. Let's see, parents' home. Okay. And let's just say a living room, so we know. Afternoon. Alright. So he's in there. Chris and his mom are watching. What are they watching? I don't know. Watching a reality show. That's not really accurate to real life, but I guess, they could be watching like a Sasquatch video, you know. A Sasquatch documentary. Kristen's mom are watching a Sasquatch documentary. This is sad. Say mom. Do we need actually talking or anything? I don't know. See, this is like a non-essential scene that we need just to change between sections. So is there anything we can set up here that we can't, that might help us, give us a payoff later? Mom pauses the video. How are you doing, son? Chris. Alright, so it's not the best, it's not the cleanest scene per se, but basically we're gonna have the mom be like, alright, how you doing? He's like, I'm not scared. Not talking about the documentary. He kind of opens up, but he doesn't really open up too much. She acknowledges and then keeps on going. She's not going to press the matter here. This right here is called subtext. How you doing, son? This isn't even that scary. I'm not talking about the documentary. We're saying stuff without saying stuff, you know? It's not the cleanest by any means, but it's one way to do it. Kind of elevate that writing just a little bit. Who knows? But, okay, now we transition. Living room. Boom. Chris paces the living room. Okay, so this is the scene where Chris is trying to figure out who he is, because he's kind of felt stuck, and he was feeling stuck in the relationship, and he's trying to get out of this slump, so he wants to write about who he is and who he wants to be, but at the moment he is struggling with even getting it out. So again, this is kind of written where he's talking with his dad, getting permission to go down to the river property. But again, that doesn't necessarily make not story sense, but what am I talking about? It doesn't make tonal sense, because again, in the beginning we set up he was looking at a hiking book, so to have that set up and then payoff, he's actually just going on a hike, not just a camp spot, you know. So we will see. We just gotta reword some stuff here. So paces the living room, on a coffee table, a notebook with a blank page. Let's say his notebook, because again, we also set up that he was writing in a notebook at the beginning, so it's not just a brand new notebook we're talking about. He pastes the living room on the coat is his notebook with a blank page. Sits down to write, but instead checks his notifications on his phone. Eventually sets the phone down and picks up the pen. Goes in to write, but stops. He looks outside. He gets distracted again by the passing cars. He again checks his phone in habit. He struggles to pull his attention back to the notebook. Once he does, he taps his pen on paper, thinking, then writes, "Who am I?" And who do I want to be? This gives us a little bit more. This again is trying to establish the theme of this movie, where he's trying to figure out who he is, who he's going to be. This is literally visual confirmation of that idea. It might be too smack in the face, but since this basically happened in real life, I'll just keep it there for now. When we do a third draft, if we do a third draft, we can change it to make it sound a little bit more real. So we'll see right now. Looks like we got more people in the chat. Or not in the chat, but streaming. I like it. I love it. So for all the new viewers, the person in the chat is Maurice. He is one of the famous YouTubers from Woo Vlogs. He is a friend of Jack, and that's how I met him. And now he's a friend of mine. And he is just loving to talk right now. And I've been talking with him for the past 20-ish minutes. So for everybody tuning in, that is who it is. All right. So let's continue. Okay. He picks up needing a distraction. Okay, so we can cut the dad out. He's a minor character, and again, in this scene at least, it doesn't make sense. I mean, dad's checking on him. That's great for sure. We just had the mom checking in, so it's kind of redundant right here. So what we'll do is we'll take this out. Let's go. We don't need that. It's extracurricular. We don't need it. So let's go back up here. Chris breathes out dramatically like he just completed a major task. He pauses once again, trying to collect his thoughts. Once more, he gets up and goes to his room and grabs the 100 packs of book. Okay. Now here's what screenwriters call get in there late and leave early. We're going to show that he grabs his book. Then it's going to cut to him on the trail. We don't have to show he gets in his car, he drives to the hike, he's hiking. No, he's already on the trail. Again, trying to establish this is the start of his journey, right? So, but let's change camp to trail. Then again, we'll have to change some of this stuff to make sure it makes sense. But yeah. So late afternoon opens. Let's go. He closes his tent. Okay, let's read kind of what's going on here. Okay, we might have to change some of this. Let's go. Okay. Chris closes his tent. He walks to the edge of a great drop off, sits down. He's on the top. Well, he's not necessarily on a mountain, but he's on top of something. I'm going to write mountain for now. Or I guess a peak. Again, see, better word choice. He didn't just climb a freaking mountain. He's on top of a peak and by himself. Chris closes his tent. He walks the edge of a great drop-off and sits down. He's on top of a peak. He's on the top of a peak and by himself. Okay, so let's make this evening, actually. It makes it more dramatic. Let's make it more dramatic. He watches as the sun begins to set in the distance. Chris takes a deep breath and pulls out his notebook and begins to write. All right, there. He's made the choice. He's kind of clearing his head. He's getting that piece. He begins to write who he is and who he wants to be. Right? He's trying to figure out that. He's trying to figure that out. Right? Okay. Camp later. He sits by a campfire. I don't know if there's going to be a campfire on the peak, but let's say there is. Let's say there is a campfire. It's a little small one, right? Let's take this out. I mean, this is all nice for sure. It doesn't really add to the story, so I'm gonna take that out. Again, we wanna make it as concise as possible. So he sits at a campfire, poking it occasionally with a stick. He looks up and sees the stars. He smiles. And next to him, his notebook is open. There is a lot of writing on the page. So that, we cut out some scenes, but we just summarized it in basically a sentence. He wrote a lot. Boom. Easy. And so look at that. We got, he started his character development now. Interior, Chris and MJ's apartment, living room, afternoon. Chris opens the door with his whole camping supplies. MJ is on the couch watching TV. Cool. How was your trip? It was really refreshing, actually. We could word that better. Let's keep it simple though. It was just what I needed. So I'm just thinking there's a few scenes ahead that, again, they don't necessarily make sense, because now that he is still kind of sad in this moment, but he's wanting to do new things. He's already gone on the hike that he's been trying to go on, right? The main thing we're trying to get to is him going to a country bar. That's where the real story kind of kicks off. But the premise there is his friend kind of gets him to go and put him in that awkward situation. We have to make it in a way where either he goes to the bar before he has this whole life moment, which I think we could do like, oh, look at that, we're solving it in real time, guys. So he could go after this scene where they just, they go here, then they go out to the bar. So he doesn't match anybody. So he goes to the bar looking around. Instead of finding women, he finds his love for line dancing. he could, look at that. This is why I'm live streaming, honestly, because now you guys can see the process of the writing experience. So yeah, so okay, guys, we could probably keep this there too, honestly. We could keep that. I think this could be necessary for other things because we do want to introduce as many characters as possible in the beginning of the script. So then, again, like I've said before, we have the setups and then we have the payoffs later. So hopefully we can get that going. All right. Let's see. Okay, guys. So we got all that. We got all this. It was just writing it. Again, I'm not necessarily the best at writing words. I'm just giving you guys the bare bones here. So I'm going to save this real quick. I'm going to open my original draft. Let's go open, scroll down, let's go. And then the reason why I have two documents right now is the first one, again, has the whole script on it, right? But it's a little cluttered, and even though I could go through here, grab the scene, move it here, move it here, you don't just have the flexibility of just writing something, realizing it's trash, deleting it, without potentially deleting the other stuff. So I'm just going a couple scenes at a time, going through this and adding it to a completely new doc, trying to get that doc as perfect as possible, and hopefully turning out really good. So I think, let's see. Yeah, okay, see, this scene's actually quite a bit longer. And it does lead into the next little bit. Okay. So we got living room, afternoon. We got skating rink. We got country bar. See if we just let's grab to 35. I don't know if we can. Let's try that. Let's go. Let's copy. Control C. Let's go. The one thing is we may or may not be able to do this easily. No, we will not. Okay. Darn it. Alright, so let's I might have messed up the framing here. Let's make this full screen. Okay. Let's go open. Scroll down. Okay. So we'll go from here all the way down to 35. Okay. copy, close, boom. Okay. So we moved in some new scenes. We moved in some new scenes, and we should be right about. I guess again, here's the scenes right here, so we could go like right here. Where are we at? Chris opens the empty apartment. Him and okay, bum, 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 bum. Alright, camp. I guess we could change this real quick. We'll just say trail. We'll keep it consistent there. Just what I needed is this kind of stuff. Okay, this might be a little heavy-handed right here, saying who he wants to be. What I'll do for now is I will highlight it and I'll come back to that. And you know what? I'll even add a script note like this and be like, maybe word this better. Make it shorter. Boom. Alright. So we can come back to that eventually. It might not be in this stream because it does make sense. It just might be a little clunky. So yeah. Let's scroll up here. So this makes sense with this section, and from now that he's a little bit better at it, he's like, you can't see me. just because I think of you sometimes. It's a little callback to our WWE event. So there you go. But let's see. Damn, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. Crazy. Let's see. Alright, so this makes sense. Alright, so here's one thing that, again, doesn't necessarily make sense, or I guess it won't make thematic sense in the movie. Here in this scene, MJ is the one who initiates going bar hopping, which kind of starts the main story. However, MJ is going to be the general antagonist of the movie, not because he's bad or anything, but he is the opposite of Chris, and so there will be that conflict. But if MJ in this scene is the one that shows him his new love, then it might not make sense later when MJ doesn't want to do things, because that will be the main conflict in the story, at least between these two characters. If he's like, oh yeah, let's go do something, but then the rest of the movie doesn't want to do anything, it doesn't make sense. And I'm trying to think how it all played out in real life. It honestly was Cole. See, that's the thing. I don't know. The country bar thing, this scene is made up. We didn't all go out to this bar together the first time. I went there the first time. Well, me and Jack went there the first time. And I think we left pretty quickly. But it was such a long time ago before I went back that it was basically me initiating going to this. But again, for this movie, and to make it cohesive, we only need like 5 characters. And if we can use some of the characters for multiple things, for real life people, you know, if we can put 3 friends and mush them into 2 friends and give those traits to those people, again, we can make it a little bit more concise, a little bit more coherent. People can follow it, and for the most part, it'll be good. Thankfully, we already have a character in here named Tuck, because that was the only name I could think of off the top of my head. And Tuck would be a great replacement for Cole, and Cole is known to be the guy who wants to do things. So we will be doing things, and he will be that main drive, right? So how we're going to do it, because this basically plays out in real life. Let's scroll up. This is actually, I write in almost an exact interaction of how things are on a weekly basis already. So we'll keep all this in here so we can see where we came from. I don't want to delete it just yet. There might be some overlap here, but we'll say Chris sits slumped in the sofa. I guess, yeah. As you can see, he's still depressed. He's watching. Okay, actually, what if it's his bedroom, right? It'll make more sense in a second, but Chris, MJ apartment, bedroom, night. Chris is slumped sits in his bed, half interested in the show he's watching. MJ knocks on his door. Chris, come in. And this is all very, very accurate. Your boy. Chris looks confused. Tuck peeks his head into Chris's room. Tuck, we going bar hopping? Alright, so we're going bar hopping. He's like, he wants to drink. That's his thing, right? He wants to drink. Let's go. Let's go. I wasn't planning on it. Let's go. Wasn't planning on it. He points the screen. I'm trying to get through all this tonight. MJ. I like this line. It's probably not PG-13 related. Again, it doesn't fit tonally, but it seems accurate. But it also could be Tuck for sure. Again, we're trying to make Tuck the guy who is... We're trying to make Tuck the guy who's instigating all the fun, and then... So he'd be like the positive force in the movie, and then we've got MJ being the negative force. Not necessarily negative in a bad way, but just the opposite of Chris. In this moment, Chris is down in the dumps. But again, that doesn't change the antagonist feature that MJ will play, right? So let's go. I wasn't planning out points on screen. Again, as we can see, he's trying to get through. He's trying to watch all this TV. This is a perfect moment to be like, call him out on his own hypocrisy, even though he doesn't necessarily know. We can say like, you can watch that later. We'll change this, or we'll highlight it. Change to make more PG-13. I don't know exactly what, if you can say bitch in a PG-13 movie, but it does not say fit, so we can highlight that. Bring it back for later. Okay. He's gonna cop out. He's gonna say like, "Nah, I just don't drink that much." We're gonna change this to Tuck though. We're gonna have Tuck also convince MJ to come out, because I mean that's pretty accurate to how it already happens. So, come on, man. We haven't been out together in forever. You just need to get looking a bit musty, if I'm going to be honest. Groans and look at his phone. Okay, he says, "You don't have to drink. We just want you to be with us, please." This is a great MJ quote. He said that before. I'm gonna have to give it to Tuck though. Again, thematically, this is how it would have to work out. But again, we can develop his character also later in the script. So we have to think about those things. All right, so Chris groans again, but he rolls off. He rolls off his bed. Sweet. If I'm so musty, I need a shower at least. All right, Tuck's like, well, that's hell yeah is MJ's phrase. So we're gonna be like, we roll 10. All right, and then similar to what I said before, we get there late, we leave early. It would be funny to say like MJ again is resisting, but it eventually comes out. We could make a note of that and try it, but I'm just trying to think, how can we make it so it's like, I'm not coming, then he is there. Like, it would be funny. It would be a dramatic twist of events, right? But I just don't know how to write it correctly right now. So we'll see. See. Let's just add a line. Definitely not. Also, another thing, I'm trying to think of how it would work in actual staging if I were to shoot this in real life. If Tuck is looking in through the door, where is MJ? How would that look? And then when we cut to the city road where they're walking drunk down the road, how do we cut where this has a little bit more punch to it, right? We could say like, let's say, okay, we could say something like this. First round is on me, then it cuts, and then they're all there. That's the only way you can convince him to come out. Maybe not in real life, but for this story, that would be funny. So, exterior road night, the three friends are clearly buzzed walking down the dark street. Chris is clearly inebriated. It turns out Mai Tais are my kind of thing. Chris looks around to see if his joke landed or not. Even with a buzzed crowd, it did not. Bob. Oh, we didn't even introduce Bob. We might have to take Bob out of the script. So we're just taking Bob and replacing him with Tuck. Okay, so we're making some pretty good progress. I think this all makes pretty good sense, for the most part. I think what will change right here though is, again, we'll leave early and cut this down. MJ should probably change some of these lines, but let's see. Alrighty, guys. So, I think I'm gonna cut this stuff out because again, he's still kind of sad, right? And we haven't got to his. Um, we haven't had his big moment of who he wants to be yet. So maybe he's not doing this yet. Okay, so we're just trying to cut out as much as we can to make it nice and crisp. Trying to cut it down a little bit. Okay. So we have. So we went through all these scenes. These are looking pretty good. Let's say Chris is laying on his phone. Da 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 da. Paces the room. Okay, so let's go here. Let's drag these scenes and move them to here. Okay, so he's swiping, then he's with his mom, then Tuck's hanging out. If this doesn't make any sense, it's because I'm a little tired trying to figure this out myself. Alright. So okay. I think that lines up pretty darn well. And then that all lines up pretty darn well. Okay. And this needs to go. Okay. So we can say that. Okay. So he kind of has his awakening here. He's like, who do you want to be? I want to be this guy. Then he's like, how are you going to do it? I'm going to do something. He grins, and then he's like, yeah, I'm at a skate rink. Then he's at a yoga studio, and he's struggling, he's trying. So this is the start where he's becoming a new guy. At the same time, he's gonna in the next stream, we'll get into his first date, or not his first date, but his first interaction with a girl, the girl that will be the other antagonist. Again, not necessarily a negative force, just the main cause of conflict in the movie. All good conflict for sure. So I think I'll end it here for now. I will resume this tomorrow, hopefully, and we'll see how it all goes. So thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you again for watching. It was real fun.